Hey there, and welcome to This Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled you're tuning in today because we are setting the stage for a seriously fascinating look into the massive physical footprint of the AI boom that's sweeping across the US right now. We hear a ton about algorithms and software, but today we're looking at the concrete, the steel, the water, and the immense power grids required to actually make artificial intelligence a reality. But here is the central conflict we really need to unravel. As these giant data centers are proposed in communities all over the country, we're seeing a collision of capital, science, and politics. When industry-funded studies claim there's zero environmental impact, but independent scientists are literally sounding the alarm, and the federal government aggressively rewrites the regulatory rulebook, well, how do we, as a society, figure out what's real? How do we actually know the truth about the cost of our AI future? Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap for today. First, the AI infrastructure boom. 2, conflicting research and bias. 3, the federal AI push. 4, politicizing independent science. And 5, states challenge mandates. Section 1, the AI infrastructure boom. To truly grasp the stakes here, let's zoom in on Calvert County, Maryland. There's a proposed Amazon Web Services data center going up next to a nuclear power plant, and it perfectly captures this national tension. On one hand, you've got the promise, right? $45 million in projected annual tax revenue for a county facing budget pressures, plus 250 high-paying operational jobs. But on the flip side, you have the footprint. We're talking immense physical structures with unprecedented energy and cooling demands that have local residents deeply, deeply concerned about their community's culture, wildlife, and resources. And those environmental concerns aren't just hypothetical. Recent independent research looking at satellite data has actually found that these large-scale AI data centers, they call them hyperscalers, act as massive local heat islands. In some areas, these facilities have spiked the surrounding surface temperatures by up to a staggering 16.4 degrees Fahrenheit. That is a massive warming effect extending for miles, potentially making heat waves much worse for nearby families. However, it's absolutely crucial that we look at the industry's counter-narrative too. Developers like Amazon cite their own funded studies claiming zero negative impact on local utility rates, and they note that they pay for their own power infrastructure upgrades. And as for the water, well, they promise to rely primarily on air cooling, and when water is needed, they plan to just reuse the existing cooling water from that neighboring nuclear plant. So essentially, no new withdrawals from the local bay. Section 2, conflicting research and bias. So when local residents hear those industry promises, a lot of them remain pretty skeptical about industry-funded studies. And to understand why, let's look at a historical precedent. Back in 2006, Dr. Henry Lai analyzed 326 different studies looking at the biological effects of cell phone radiation. Initially, the research was incredibly confusing. Exactly 50% found a biological effect and 50% found no effect. A total coin toss, right? And this brilliantly illustrates what happens when you dig a little deeper, because filtering by who wrote the check revealed a massive bias. Independent studies found a biological effect 70% of the time, but industry-funded studies, only 30% of the time. This stark contrast proves exactly why the public and policymakers have traditionally relied on objective, independent, government-funded science to be the ultimate impartial referee for critical infrastructure decisions. Section 3, the federal AI push. Right, so when industry science is conflicted, we naturally look to the federal government to step in. But right now, the government's priority is rapid acceleration to guarantee global AI dominance. Through Executive Order 14179, the administration is actively easing regulatory burdens and fast-tracking projects requiring over 100 megawatts of power. Just to put that into perspective, 100 megawatts is enough to run roughly 80,000 homes. The EPA is also streamlining Clean Air Act permitting to aggressively expedite all this construction. Section 4, politicizing independent government science. Okay, so what happens when this push for rapid infrastructure collides with objective scientific evaluation? We are tracking a sequence of federal actions that early career scientists and researchers argue are aggressively defunding and targeting academic independence. For instance, the National Science Foundation has cut hundreds of climate-related grants. The National Institutes of Health implemented a strict cap on indirect research costs, which universities heavily rely on to fund their labs. And most recently, there's been a highly controversial move to drastically restructure evaluation offices within the Department of Health and Human Services. To really understand the gravity of this, look at the Administration for Children and Families. Their research arm, known as OPRE, evaluates some of the most consequential federal programs out there. A massive coalition of over 130 organizations recently warned the HHS secretary that this restructuring threatens to destroy a highly respected independent evaluation unit. It would fundamentally change how we measure what actually works in this country. Because the crucial concern here is the scientific process itself. Under the new plans, research will reportedly require a final sign-off from political appointees. Critics argue this destroys the scientific independence that gives federal evaluation its credibility. Think about it. It means years of ongoing taxpayer-funded data collection, literally your money and your data, could be abandoned or altered just to fit a political narrative. It risks stripping the public of the impartial referee we desperately need.
Section 5. States challenge federal mandates.
Now, what's really interesting about this is how the vacuum of objective federal oversight has forced states to act. With the federal government deregulating, state and local governments are actively rebelling against these federal AI mandates. There is a massive regulatory divide happening. While Washington only targets massive centers over 100 megawatts, states are regulating facilities as small as 10 megawatts. Where the feds offer financial incentives, states are demanding developers pay for their own infrastructure. And while the federal executive order largely ignores water usage, states are advancing strict mandatory reporting laws to protect local resources. Actually, some states are going even further than regulation. They are hitting the brakes entirely. Maine is poised to become the very first state to implement a complete construction moratorium, basically a temporary ban on data centers, pausing all new projects until November 2027 to properly study the community impacts. And they definitely aren't alone. Several other local governments across both heavily Democratic and Republican-leaning jurisdictions are considering the exact same temporary prohibitions. The AI industry is definitely trying to get ahead of this local backlash. Several major developers have signed a voluntary ratepayer protection pledge, promising that your local utility bills won't spike to cover their new electric generation costs. But because this pledge lacks any real legal enforcement methods, states like California, Ohio, and Utah aren't taking any chances. They're actively passing legislation to turn those voluntary, flimsy promises into legally binding laws to protect your wallet. So, what does this all mean? With billions of dollars on the line, independent federal research facing unprecedented political pressure, and individual states throwing up legal roadblocks, who ultimately determines the true environmental and social cost of our AI future? It's an incredibly complex collision of money, science, and power, and the outcome is literally going to reshape the physical landscape of our country. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep questioning the data.